UNISD Reporting Services is here at the United Nations office at Nairobi, covering the second UN Environment Assembly. The overarching theme of the session is delivering on the environmental dimension of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. UNEP's Executive Director, Achim Steiner, and Jorge Laguna-Celis provide an overview of what we can expect during the week.
What happens here over the coming week is essentially the world's parliament on the environment. Heads of state and government in Rio in 2012 took the decision to strengthen, upgrade the United Nations Environment Programme, in part in order to reflect the ever-growing importance of environmental change and of environment in general for the future of development. So what we now have is UNEA 2, the United Nations Environment Assembly, the only other body in the UN Secretariat that has universal membership aside from the General Assembly, so all nations are here. And as well, we have participants from civil society and major groups, over 300 of them, business leaders from 200 organizations. And we also prepared a science policy forum with 300 of the world's leading scientists working on the big assessments about what is happening to our environment. All that now feeds into decisions that governments will take this week here about important issues from oceans to environmental governance, but also, for instance, on climate change and implementing the Paris Agreement, on chemicals and waste, on plastics in the oceans, but also sometimes on things that have to do with very complicated world realities. There are decisions that UNEA will consider on environment and armed conflict, both at the root cause and also what do we do in situations of conflict.
All participants in this second session of the United Nations Environment Assembly will be extremely busy this week. They will be busy undertaking negotiations and preparing resolutions for adoptions by ministers of the environment. They will be also extremely busy attending more than 100 events that have been prepared on all issues of the environmental agenda. They will also be engaged in bilateral consultations amongst each other, because ministers of environment only have very few opportunities to get together as a whole. So we hope to see a lot of bilateral engagement, a lot of increased understanding amongst member states.
So the high-level segment will this week focus on the link between a healthy environment and healthy people. We lose more than 7 million people prematurely every year due to air pollution, indoor and outdoor. Whether it is air, whether it is water, whether it is the quality of food, all of these things affect the environment and human health, and therefore we need to work hand in hand. It is a practical illustration of what this new Agenda 2030 is all about. There are issues that require solutions, not only a description of the problems, and my hope is that UNEA will speak in unity with very clear voices and also offerings and solutions that it can provide to the world on how to move forward.